Yo, crew, I'm Captain Jordan, Ghost Dutch Flame Tide, keeper of stories the sea cannot hide. You've heard the tale before how Gwa Gwa rose from underneath, but the sea has more to tell, and tonight it remembers the truth. The ambush at high tide. At high tide, shadow was armor. The Heiltsuk lay waiting, war paddles held still. Within a cave where the tide kept its promise. Out of the storm the raiders came, a war canoe, battered, storm-wrung, lame. They were no raiders on that day, but wanderers lost in a hostile bay. Blown south by wrath of storm and rain, they paddled for days through hunger and strain. Exhausted, blistered, their strength all gone, they drifted low as the tide pulled on. But the Heiltsuk rested, sharp and sure, saw only danger at their door. From out of the cavern with sudden might, they rammed the raiders from behind in flight. The war canoe heaved, the waters churned, the weary men to the depths returned. Cedar cracked and warriors cried as the sea pulled hard from the vessel's side. The warriors questioned. The victors circled, their breaths still tight, their eyes aflame with battle's light. And one voice rose above the din, calling out with a knowing grin. Roll it over, let's see what they bear, the treasure they guarded with such despair. They fought to the end, they gave their all. Let's see the prize behind their wall. The captive revealed. The hulls rolled, the waters fanned, and silence swept across the band. No gold, no cedar, no weapons stored, but a seized man surfaced, gasping, ignored. His wrists were bound with cords held tight, his ankles fastened firm as night. Yet still he clung, though the sea had tried to pull him under with the tide. For a moment he sank, the tides pulled fast, the water rushing his breath near past. But then a hand from above reached down, hauling him upward, breaking the sound. And as the young man met the sky, a Heiltsuk warrior spoke nearby. We shall name him Gwa Gwa, come out from underneath. It was not mercy that stayed their hand, it was recognition. For only one of great worth would the raiders bind and guard through storm. Only one of spirit's fire could endure what should have ended all. Among the Heiltsuk, so Gwa Gwa was taken, not destroyed, seized, yes, but not broken. The Heiltsuk saw him not as foe, but as a fire they would come to know. In time he spoke their tongue with ease, words flowing as wind through trees. Visions came as dreams at night, warnings sharp on futures bright. He told the tides that would bring the hooligans, and nets grew heavy the day he spoke. He showed the path of salmon's rod, and smokehouses filled as he had foretold. The whisper spread, this one carries flame within. Not only man, but more than kin. Healer of the inland, the sick were brought to where he stayed. Their breaths grew calm beneath the shade. He sang strange songs, he laid his hands, and healing stirred across the lands. Some rose renewed, some passed in peace, yet all who came found some release. The captive became the healer known, his fire of spirit brightly shone. Warrior fire, but do not mistake his hand is mild, for grief still burns fierce and wild. His lost village, smoke and pain, haunted always in his brain. So when the raiders struck once more, he stood as stone upon the shore. With searing blood and searing eyes, he fought like thunder, split the skies. The Heiltsuk cheered and whispered too. fire is fierce, this fire is new. Not only man, but something more. A spirit walks on distant shore. The captain's reflection. Sailors, do you hear the question the sea still asks? How does a captive become a prophet? How does fire live when rope and water conspire to drown it out? The answer is not only Gwa Gwa's, it waits in each of us. When your canoe overturns, will you rise from underneath? Next episode, the wings of sickness. But even as Gwa Gwa's fire grew, a darker shadow gathered too. Not carried by spears, nor borne of flight, but borne on wings that cross the night. From Mexico's plains, where strangers tread, the sickness stirred, the sickness spread. Birds return with feathers bright, but carried silence in their flight. Cedar villages dimmed with cries, many were lost, elders gone, the young remain. A coast is mourning, spirits strayed. And so before the sails drew near, before their muskets' iron and fear, the people's strength was torn away, broken before the day. Next time we face the wings of sickness, and the fire refuses to die. Throw us a line at ghostboatadventures@gmail.com. Subscribe to Sail, Shadow, and Song. Keep the voyage afloat. Support links are in the description. Captain Jordan's crew goes over and out.